Next, our runner-up for Western Australia.
It's by far the smallest project that we've had to judge, but it really goes to show how clever design on a small scale can actually enhance the space.
This project is a great example of how we should look at garden design in the domestic sense, that plants have been used not just for their aesthetics, but to modify the microclimate of that house. So we don't need the air conditioner, we don't need power as much. It's the way of our future.
Hidden behind this poinciana in parched Perth is a little suburban secret. Wow, Janine, this really does feel tropical.
Well, it does feel tropical, and I was really trying to create that feeling that it is like being on holidays when you're in the garden. One of the things that I did to achieve the look was to do really great soil improvement. I took out about 30 cubic metres of sand out of this property and put in really good soil. And then I chose the plants for their water-wise capacity, but also choosing plants with big leaves like the philodendrons. They're really great. They give you that real tropical feel. Every part of the garden is quite functional, but it's also beautiful.
And you mentioned it's water-wise, yet you've got this water feature right here.
Yeah, well, the water feature just recycles on itself, and it's also designed to be like a dry riverbed. So I don't run it all the time, only when I'm sitting outside. When it's off, it still looks nice.
This isn't the only garden space that you have?
No, there's 3 gardens. They're all really quite different from each other. Come and I'll show you.
Great. What have you designed this space for?
Well, when I first built the house, my children were still living at home, so I wanted to create an area for them where they could actually have their friends, and they were away from me, which is always good when they're teenagers. But they only really lived here for about 7 months, so now I'm just using it as my own little play garden. It's an area to sit and have breakfast. I've got my lemon and my lime tree there.
It's very functional.
I can make my mojitos.
And so you've got a third space, courtyard space off your kitchen area?
I have. That's my little coastal courtyard because I'm quite close to the beach here. So I wanted to get kind of a bit of a bleached kind of feeling, and I've used a dado finish concrete, a little angled pond which has got a deep turquoise colour to it, and it's also got a little Italian penguin in there which actually serves as my dog's toilet.
Excellent.
So you've got to have a functional garden. It can't only be beautiful. You know what male dogs are like, we can't have them going everywhere in the garden.
And you mentioned you don't really even use your air conditioning.
No, I hardly ever use my air conditioning. In my office upstairs a little bit because I've got no plant canopy.
Yep.
But if I open up all the doors in the house, because of the way it's designed, that beautiful southwesterly wind that you don't want in winter will come right through into the front al fresco and cool that area. But downstairs I put a big air conditioner on. I've been here for 10 years and I've used it twice.
Fantastic.
That's what we should be aiming for if we really want to work towards a more sustainable future in the way that we build, but we should really be thinking about how we can actually have plants and trees in our garden to cool our properties and to better serve the environment in the future.
And of course all the design and thinking behind this garden comes down to this really.
Absolutely, it comes down to looking like you didn't have to think about it at all because you can actually just sit in it and enjoy it.
Well, congratulations, and your limes are delicious.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Now, in our countdown of the top landscape architecture projects for the year in Western Australia, number 1.
So in contrast to number 2, number 1 is by far the biggest project we've judged. Chevron Parkland is a perfect example of how clever landscape design has helped return what was private land for many years back to the hands of the public.
Natural play spaces are really important for children in our modern age. And the Chevron Parkland Playground is an exemplar project focusing on imaginative play. We should see more of these in the future.
The new Optus Stadium in Perth is grabbing all the attention as the big new statement in town. I think the real story is in this remarkable and complex landscape.
The Stadium Park project for us was a fantastic opportunity to create this great resource on the eastern part of the city. One of the critical aspects of the park design was accommodating a range of people coming. 9,000 people are coming from this bridge here in the northern part of the site. There are 28,000 people arriving from the train stations and 14,500 from the new bridge on the south side.
That's amazing. And it's not just a normal park though, is it?
No, and it can't be a normal park because of the amount of people that are coming here and the range of elements that we need to include. One of the key aspects of the site was public art. This art piece here, The Wandering, really kind of sits itself nice within the landscape, and it creates these range of spaces and elements to view as you arrive through into the precinct itself. Public art really has been included throughout the site to enrich that experience and create that stronger sense of place.
So what did this area used to be?
Well, where we're stood now used to be a rubbish tip, so it's a very contaminated part of the city. It was also a golf course for a long time, and it closed off to the community. But also, importantly, it used to be a significant site for the local indigenous people who used it for ceremonies, burials, fishing, and what have you. So what we really tried to do is heal the land, both physically and culturally. This area here, which I like to call the island, we've rehabilitated from essentially a golf driving range into a significant scale nature play area, which is infused with indigenous stories. And you know, it creates an amazing kind of attraction for the community, in particular on non-game day. So it's open 365 days of the year.
So this sort of does feel like you're on an island.
Oh, it certainly does. So we're between the river and the lake there, and it's a beautiful nature play area. We're on Mere Hill at the moment, so we kind of invited children to create different types of shelters, etc., and cubbies, and they've kind of moved the sticks around, as you can see, and they're well on their way.
So they kind of become the architects of the space.
They certainly do, and I think that you've hit the nail on the head there, and that's what we really wanted them to do, is be the ones that now create the different spaces across the site. They'll move the sticks, they'll move the stones, they'll make goat tracks, etc. So they'll put their own stamp on this space.
Anthony mentioned that you worked really closely with the local Indigenous community.
Yes, we did. We worked with the Whadjuk community really closely. We engaged with them and their artists to, I think, make this space much richer and much more special.
And so where are you taking me now?
Taking you through one of the Indigenous artists' work. She was a Noongar artist, Sharon Egan, and this work is called Wabini Mia, which means playhouse. And as you can see, it really is a playhouse. So the children love it, they climb over it, they climb through it. It's based on Sharon's original work, weaving, so it's sort of taking her cultural history and turning it into a play feature.
And you must have just loved doing this project.
I have, and I think that, to me, what it's all about as a landscape architect is, after all this hard work, you've created something that you can really see the children absolutely loving and engaging with. And making it even more special for me is the fact that I bring my own child here now, and he loves it.
I really like what Anthony said about healing the landscape through design. This place has been returned to somewhere not just for the fans, but for everyone.